Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me again. My name is Wilky, and I apologize first off for not putting out any of the videos I talked and promised people to make. I was basically being a slack. There is no apology for that. I was really being lazy. I don't deny that. On the other hand, I did actually prepare some PvP footage along with a guide. However, before I finished it and it got released, they dropped the 18th May patch on us, which basically changed a lot of the tactics I used before drastically, in which case I'm kind of happy I guess I was too slow, because it doesn't confuse people now, and I don't have to do the same thing I have with my ranger right now, that they did change something after I made some guides. So I'm kind of happy, at least, that this guide was not thrown out there yet, because some of my later guides are basically obsolete now, because the same stuff doesn't work that way. However, I'm just going to try and fix some of the things and talk about the new patch notes that have been laid upon us. I do remember and I do know that this patch is almost, no, not 2 weeks, but kind of like 10 days old already. So I'm pretty sure most people have figured out stuff by now. But then again, maybe there's something you still haven't figured out, and I'm pretty sure I haven't figured out everything else either. Anyways, let's just go from top to bottom over the patch notes. This is all I'm going to talk about this video, maybe some little text, and I'll just make some new guides and probably some PvP footage maybe next week after my paper's done and everything else is done. Anyways, the amount of HP and WP has been increased, which for me resulted in 50 more HP and 50 more WP. 50 more HP is not a whole lot, but it's something nice to have. Never bad to have more HP. What's good though is 50 WP that not only increases damage output for some skills, it basically gives you a higher resource pool, which is always good. So definitely a plus on that. Pre-action speed of blooming has been increased. If you have watched my blooming cancel guide, then you basically know how long the animation was and you have something for reference. And if you still haven't, I'm pretty sure I have by now, it basically has been increased. I think by like 50-ish% maybe. It still doesn't really affect my playstyle, to be honest. I still don't think this changes anything, because I think canceling it is still much better and allows for a lot more fluent combos and setups. But yeah, this is my personal opinion. Maybe there are new combos I haven't figured out by now that utilize the full blooming for maximum damage output. Maybe there's something I, for now, have not seen or come across anything that sounds right for me, but maybe I haven't played around with the new standard blooming yet. So, they fixed the attack range for both Musa and Mawa. That means is because a lot of people seem to have issues to hit this skill prior to the patch. For me, it was alright. It didn't feel like I was missing or not hitting anything, to be honest. But there definitely has been some issue with it. So they fixed that, making this skill a lot more viable than it already was. So definitely a must-have now, if you haven't taken it yet. And I recommend getting used to that skill, because it's a very good stun. It's probably one of the hardest hitting skills we have. It drains mana, which is really good to eliminate most threats in front of you. Plus, it's a stun, and now it seems to be a lot more reliable, so definitely take it. Animation speed of skills after retaliation has been increased. I don't see a buff, and I'm not exactly sure how that is supposed to affect us, but apparently it does. So it doesn't sound like a bad thing. Now let's talk onto the more juicy skills, I guess. There's two, or rather three things I'd really quickly go over about. First off, chase has been drastically changed. What's good about the new chase is that it definitely uses less, well, it's 2, but still, you save 2 willpower if you rank it to chase 2. So if you have it at 1, it'll use 17 WP, at 2, only 15. It also has a lower cooldown now, and they fixed it. So basically, if it's not on cooldown, you'll be invincible, meaning you're basically protected from everything. Damage, CCs. Super armor, in case you still don't know what that actually means, is it protects you from all type of CCs, excluding grabs, and maybe excluding some form of CC I haven't come across yet. But anything else I've tested and I've been hit with seems to be working just fine. So you cannot be knocked down, you cannot be stunned, stiffness, yada 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 doesn't work. Grabs do still work, so pay caution when you are near Zergs, Valkyries, or Warriors. The downside is that it now requires stamina. That means you can see that just by chasing around, literally chasing around using chase, that stamina is being depleted by a very small rate, but it still is depleted. It's 50 stamina per charge. Personally, I never or very rarely had an issue. The only time I really have an issue with that is when I'm lagging away, like literally running away from horses or something, because at some point my stamina will run out and I have no way to replenish it with pots or Musa Spirit. But anything besides that, in terms of PvP, doesn't really bother me. For PvE, it slightly bothers me because I used a lot of stamina-based skills, but it's just something I have to get used to. So for now, I don't really see anything or any reason not to take Chase 2. I'll talk about Chase Cancel, I guess, in a separate video again, because there has been a lot of yada yada and mumbo jumbo around that people need to use some macros and key assignments. I'm totally confused about that because that's not true. But yeah, we're just going to talk about that in a future short video. The biggest change, after all, I think, though, was made to Dragon Bite. Now, first things first, Dragon Bite does not apply a stiffness, but a stun. I think I didn't mention this one. I'm not sure if I have. I'm too lazy to rewatch my old video, sorry. But I think I haven't mentioned that this one is actually a stun and not a stiffness effect. What that meant before is that after you basically chase somebody and then you just pop the Dragon's Bite to CC them, you stunt them. That means you could use stiffness or something else, because what people don't realize is that even after the CC nerf, you can still chain certain CCs. What doesn't work very well anymore is to use the same CC in succession. So that means if I stun the enemy once, it's not a smart move to try to stun them again. It still is a very viable method to apply stiffness to them or knockbacks. Like I said, I'll definitely make a video about that. But basically, if you rotate your CCs, that being stuns, stiffness, knockbacks, then you can actually, well, maybe not an infinite combo, but you can drag out combos for probably 6 to 8 seconds-ish, depending on the way you change them and everything. Once you lift the enemy off the ground, this is basically where the combo stops. I still have to figure out one thing, which I'll talk about later as well. But definitely, if you knock down the enemy, be it by a knockdown or a float, this is where the combo ends. This is where you want to pack the highest damage in. As soon as the enemy lifts from the ground, push out your damage and make sure you kill them, or make sure you're not gonna get retaliated after they get back on their feet. So definitely keep an eye on that. Anyways, back to Dragon Bite. One thing is that it is a stun. The second thing is they removed the little backwards dash. So basically, if you press backwards and shift, this is somewhat what the old Dragon's Bite looked like. It doesn't do that anymore. So if you just press S and LMB, it's gonna instantly do the poke. However, they did change something very significantly, and that is it has a hard cooldown now. Meaning, as soon as you popped it once, there's no Dragon Bite for 3 seconds. So this is basically meaning you cannot do Dragon Bite cancel, making my Dragon Bite video completely obsolete. Fuck that, that's just how life is, I guess. It wasn't bad to learn that technique, I guess, but it definitely has no use anymore. Especially since they removed the annoying backwards whirl thingy that kinda screwed that combo up. However, 3 seconds cooldown now, which means we get a stun every 3 seconds, which is pretty damn good. What they also said in the patch notes that as soon as this skill is in cooldown, you'll take less damage. I haven't really figured out how exactly that works, because I still don't feel like I take less damage, but I'll conduct some proper testing probably this weekend. Anyways, this comes with one major drawback. And that major drawback being, as soon as your Black Spirit Rage is filled up, triggering Dragon Bite, whatever possible way you did it before, will always trigger Black Spirit Rage, which is, I'm gonna be blunt, which is shit. It is shit because that basically means, as soon as your Black Spirit Rage is ready at 100%, we cannot use Dragon Bite anymore because instead it'll trigger the Black Spirit Rage skill. So that means no more initiating with Dragon's Bite, no more chasing after people with that, no more nothing, no more Dragon Claw, no more Lunar Slash for a lot of damage. Which, to be honest, I'm very salty about this one, because this was a technique I used very often to both preserve my Black Spirit Rage after the cancels, plus I liked Dragon Claw and I still like it very a lot, but it basically limits you. As soon as you have 100% Black Spirit Rage, it completely takes out that skill of your toolkit. I really, really hope that they will revert that. I am aware that wizards have a very similar issue, but bladers did not have before, so I really wish that they will address that. Hopefully they will do. If not, it basically means as soon as you have 100% Black Spirit Rage, forget about your Dragon Bite combos, use it for 25% attack speed, or just try to float somebody and kill them afterwards right away. I just don't like the way that it limits my playstyle quite a lot, because like I said, Dragon Bite was pretty much my main skill I used for moving around, opening fights, and what else not. Which is not possible anymore, which is, like I said, blunt, sad shit. But it is what it is, we have to take care of that. The last one I'm just gonna ramble on quickly about is going to be Backstep Slash. Now a lot of people have kinda not taken the skill. I guess I see why, because it's a kind of weird skill to use, and that stiffness effect doesn't seem to be appealing to most people, but since a lot of people probably didn't know that Dragon Bite is a stun, they probably never thought of using stiffness from Backstep Slash. And now there's 2 points about it. They buffed the range, the movement speed slow is still there, however, they put a hard cooldown on it as well, so that means as soon as you pop it once, there's gonna be no more Backstep Slash. As you can see, I'm just doing weird jumps, and as soon as it's off cooldown, it's gonna pop again, at the cost of having a higher attack range. That basically just means you cannot spam it anymore, which probably is not gonna affect most people. I'm not a fan of hard cooldowns, however, it's something I can live with. Literally the only thing that really bothers me is that freaking Black Spirit Rage is gonna clog up your Dragon Bite as soon as it's 100%, which killed me quite often in PvP, because my muscle memory tells me to do basically this old movement, and this is not possible anymore, because for one, we have a cooldown, and as soon as I have Black Spirit Rage ready, it's just gonna root me in place, make me look like a douchebag, because I'm using my Black Spirit Rage when nobody's around, just poking the ear, probably even get it picked off because you're not CC immune or whatever not, and you cannot cancel it. But yeah, this is probably, or yeah, basically all I have to say about the new patch. Sorry, like I said, for the delay. I'll make more guides in the future regarding combos, certain stuff about CCs, chase cancel, I guess, and maybe something else I have forgotten for now. Anyways, hopefully I was able to give you some information regarding that. If you want to know something else specifically regarding what else not, feel free to let me know, and I'll be sure to include it either in a comment or in the next video. Anyways, thank you guys for joining, and hopefully see you guys next time.